Hey guys, welcome back to Think Beautiful, the channel where I discuss the debacle that is Mr. Henry Markle. Because in today's episode, I want to talk about just this nonsense article that has come out. Now, has anyone asked Harry if he's okay? I just don't think he is. I mean, I pretty much know he's not. His wife certainly isn't either. But we got this article today. Let's have a chat about this. From the Mirror, Prince Harry's nonsense plan for kids amid nail in coffin decision over family. Royal expert Jenny Bond has questioned Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's reported plan they've hatched for the future for their children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. I would be questioning their parenting just in general, just everything they do with their kids, to be honest. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle may no longer, definitely no longer, are working royals or carry out duties for the king. But the couple reportedly don't want to rule out their children opting to support the monarchy despite their bombshell move to quit their royal roles. Now, first of all, that sentence makes it sound like it's up to the kids, that the kids can just suddenly one day wake up and say, you know what? I want to go and be part of the monarchy. I want to be over there. I want to represent another country. Not up to you guys, okay? Sorry, not sorry. It has nothing to do with what the kids want. It is up to the monarchy. And honestly, by that time, the monarchy is going to be so slimmed down, there'll be no room at the inn for these kids. Insiders close to the Sussexes have said, who are these insiders, by the way? Marcus Anderson has said they want Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet to retain. Can we just say Lily? Sorry. Princess Lily to retain their titles and HRH styles so they can choose to become working royals if they so wish when they are adults. It came after the source, who is this source, spoke out and claimed the Sussexes feared passports for their children were being held up due to the use of their royal titles. This is so bizarre. Is this Harry just being extra paranoid? What is it with the passports? Don't these kids already have passports? Isn't this just a renewal anyway? What is his problem and why are we hearing about this? Who is talking to the press about passport renewals? This is so bizarre. So many levels to this. So here they are, obviously, ironically, here they are overseas, away from their kids using their passports, but whinging now about their own kids' passports. The couple are said to have been left exasperated. I mean, I think everyone in the royal family is exasperated with these two, but okay, let's use it to paint the picture that they're right and everyone else is wrong. As they waited months for British passports to arrive and reportedly believed it was due to the fact they included their children's royal titles on the application. This is a renewal. This is not an application. And by the way, if this is an application for, say, I don't know, Lily, does that mean she's never been overseas before? This is so crazy. But former BBC royal expert Jenny Bond has questioned why Harry and Meghan appear so keen to cling on to titles for their children, even though they have previously railed against the institution of monarchy. Exactly right. Why would you, if you have gone to such an extreme length to escape, basically, to run away from what you felt was dangerous, you felt trapped, all of these feelings, finally you get away on no less than what you would later refer to as a freedom flight. You know, you're basically running away for your own safety, right? because you also wanted to unalive yourself at some point. And this group of people, this institution, didn't want to help you. So you had to get out of there. Why would you? It makes no sense. Why would you then say to your kids, oh, well, you can go there if you want? You can go back there. No, you would want to protect your kids, would you not? This is a bad, bad institution, according to these two. She told the Mirror, I really don't understand why, having extricated themselves from a life they did not enjoy and in which Harry has publicly spoken of feeling trapped, they want to give their children the option of rejoining. It makes no sense. Of course it doesn't. This is Mr. Nonsense talking completely. He is just not thinking. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? But it's very hard to see how two children who are clearly now more American than British would want to change their whole way of life and become working members of the royal family. Exactly. And listening to anything that Harry and Meghan have said over the years, of course they're going to be influenced by that. You are massively influenced by your parents. That is just hashtag facts, okay? Now, this is never going to happen anyway. This is obviously just some kind of clickbait to get us all talking about them, but it's just such a ridiculous story. Now, this subject also obviously touches on titles because they're using that as the reason why they think the passports are all being held up. So, of course, let's just revisit this whole title debacle, shall we? Because Archie and Lilibet got Prince and Princess titles when their grandfather, King Charles, became monarch in 2022. The first time their titles were formally announced was after Lily's christening in March 2023. Now, how could we ever forget this lie that apparently the monarchy was not even going to give their children the titles of prince and princess? Okay, this was just disgusting. Meghan alleged in her interview that she and Prince Harry's son was denied the title of prince at birth due to her biracial heritage. What a ridiculous claim. And now we know that and Harry already knew, obviously, Meghan obviously did too, but they're just liars. Under the George V Declaration, Archie is not a prince at birth, but will become one when Prince Charles becomes king, as he will then be the son of a child of the monarch. But Meghan just kept on talking and said she believed that would not be the case, just complete speculation, telling Oprah they want to change the convention for Archie. Complete propaganda, honestly. That whole interview should just be deleted. That should never have happened. If you want to do some fact checking, because these guys love facts, that whole thing just should have been wiped from the internet. And also, if you want to do some more fact checking, start with this picture because I don't even know where to look. Even that dog, oh, that black lab on the left, I think it's Pula, something like that. That dog is just, every time I look at it, it's just saying, help, help, get me out of this mess. This family is crazy. Probably there's no one standing next to the dog anyway. The whole thing is completely photoshopped. Due to the reported hold-up, which could just be completely made up, in their British passports, it is said that Harry started to explore the possibility of changing his family surname to Spencer in a nod to his late mother, Princess Diana. So, is this why we're hearing this story now? Because they need to put some context around this whole Spencer debacle, because this came out of nowhere. So, is that meant to tie into, but this is why, because of the British passports? I mean, these kids are not even going to go to the UK. Okay, they've just told us that it's too dangerous. You've lost your lawsuit. It didn't happen. You're not going to get the protection you wanted. even though you can still have protection, but it's not what you wanted. So you've basically thrown a little tantrum, and now you're telling us you're trying to get passports. Like, what is going on? Is this an episode of Bold and the Beautiful or something? And Jenny added, I think Harry has always been more Spencer than Windsor. So if he was ever going to change his name, it would be to Spencer, only because of Diana, only because of the affiliation with Diana. These guys are just running her name through the mud every single day, it seems. But this would be a final nail in the coffin of his relationship with his father and his brother. It would amount to a public declaration that he no longer saw himself as part of the royal family. And I'll go one further then, because I don't even think it would matter, and I don't think it does matter, whether or not he got this over the line. The very fact that he had the conversation and we know about it, and no one's come out and said that that conversation didn't happen. In fact, the complete opposite. We're getting this article now, which just backs up, I guess, the backstory of why that conversation even came about. So that's already enough. That's all we need to know, is that you're sniffing around and trying to change your name to Spencer. That's enough for me. And final nail in the coffin. I mean, I just have to, I'm exasperated in all of this, because when is it going to be the final nail? You can say that, and we can assume that, and it should be 100%, it should be, but nothing ever happens. So I don't understand. Can't we find the hammer to drive this nail in? What is going on? There has been continued controversy over the Sussexes' HRH titles. Okay, so let's talk about this. Since the pair quit their royal roles 5 years ago, I swear it seems longer than that, as part of their Megxit negotiations, which they again didn't get what they wanted with the palace, Meghan and the Duke of Sussex, I like how it just says Meghan, that's great, agreed to stop using Her Royal Highness and His Royal Highness at the end of March 2020. But keeping in mind that these two are liars, okay, they still retain the styles, with Harry having had his since birth, but they are essentially held in abeyance. Now, this was a problem. This was a really bad decision from the monarchy to let them keep their titles, but just don't use them. It's like giving a 3-year-old a lolly and saying, just hold it, but don't eat it. I mean, that is just not ever going to be possible. Of course, especially if it has a financial benefit. I mean, that is like sugar to Meghan. Money is like sugar. So, I mean, in hindsight, that is where it went wrong. And that is how they have been able to get this half in and half out model that they're just basically forced, and there are no repercussions anyway. However, earlier this year, it emerged Meghan had used her HRH style on a gift basket of all things, sent to, of all people, makeup entrepreneur Jamie Kern Lima last year, with a monogrammed card reading, with compliments of HRH, the Duchess of Sussex. Now, when I saw this, I was like, what? I was offended by this. This is terrible. I feel so sorry for Her late Majesty the Queen. Kern Lima showed an image of the present in footage, okay, because this was in a commercial environment. She had a podcast and she taped it. We saw the visuals. You can watch it on YouTube. It's had many, many views. She obviously got paid for this. That's a commercial venture. And then you've got her flashing up an image of this, which clearly says HRH on it. So, in my mind, this is commercial. Anyway, it showed a jar of Meghan's jam, which she has started selling as part of her As Ever lifestyle business brand. You couldn't see the logo, but She explained it was her jam. A source described the basket as a personal gift, doesn't matter. The Duchess's representatives, this is hilarious, they actually denied that the couple used them. Okay, so they said, no, they don't use them. They don't use them. We've already seen this, you idiots. Like, how are you going to make this go away? How dumb do you think we are? But a source later had to backtrack, said that the Sussexes did not use HRH publicly. Sorry, but how did I get this photo then? But retained the style and did not use it for commercial purposes. As I have just explained to you, this was in a commercial environment. Jamie Kern-Lima was getting paid. Meghan would have been paid for this podcast as well. Don't even tell me that it's not commercial. And you've put your little jam in there. You're selling jam on your As Ever website, if that's even possible right now. But there's no way, you can't even say it's commercial. It's craziness. All right. And here were these two in their sweats with their no makeup. And it was probably the worst thing I reckon I've ever watched. I can't think of anything worse than that. Maybe the Oprah interview, because that was just me screaming at the TV basically, because there was so many lies and it was so frustrating. But I was still fairly new to it at that stage, and I was a bit shocked, honestly. And there was no fact checking along the way, so it crept up on you. But this thing, we already have an opinion on Meghan Markle. So listening to this was 100 times worse than Oprah, I will say. Just hard to listen to anyway. Now, in doing some of this research for this show, I did delve into this as well. This is when she got a lot of flack for using her HRH during this Jamie Kern-Lima podcast. So I found this article, Complete Disrespect, Meghan Markle ridiculed for disobeying late Queen Elizabeth by using royal title for commercial gain. Because, of course, the direction to not use HRH came from none other than the late Queen Elizabeth. So, I mean, how disrespectful can you get? Complete disrespect. So, as I was reading through this article, I saw some points here and I read this bit and it sounded very familiar to me. This bit down the bottom here, a fourth hater declared, actions speak louder than words, Meghan Markle. Would a good person go back on their word to the Queen about using their royal title for commercial gain? And I thought to myself, that sounds very familiar. And this is in OK Magazine. And it's very familiar because, you guys, I'm famous. I wrote that. That is my tweet. They have used my tweet. They have called me a hater. Sorry, I'm just standing up for the Queen, to be honest. I mean, someone has to. So I'll take that. I'll be called a hater if if that's what it takes. As Meghan Markle says, I'll take the hit, because I'm quite proud that I said that. And yeah, Meghan, you shouldn't have done it. It's a complete action of disrespect. So there you go. I made the news in April and I didn't even know. But guys, what do you think about this story? Are these kids even going to want to work for the monarchy and be working royals anyway? Why are we even discussing this? I mean, they're going to be so brainwashed by the time they're 18. I don't think they're going to even be talking to their parents. So, I mean, who knows how this is going to go? But what do you think about Harry trying to set this up? Is he just delusional at this point? This is just never going to happen, surely. But guys, please like and subscribe, and please check out my other videos, and I will keep these coming. Thank you. Bye.